Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is day 4 of chapter 3. All right, so we've talked about plotting some points, plotting to get x and y intercepts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to graph lines given a point and something called a slope. Okay, so again, we're going to graph lines given a point and a slope. Okay, so let me just kind of start out with the problem. If I told you the slope, first of all, let's talk about what the slope is, right? M, first of all, is slope. And people are like, well, why is M slope? Well, I kind of looked it up one time, and M is basically, if you know mountain in Spanish, it's montaña. And the slope of a mountain that's why they use the letter M, because for slope of mountain, as opposed to S, which looks like a 5. Okay, so they said M is slope, so that's it. M is slope. All right, so basically, if you guys remember, slope M is rise over run. Okay, rise means it's up and down, and run is left and right. You kind of have to remember that. Okay, so when you have the top number is how much you go up and down, and the bottom number is how much you go left and right. Okay, so if I said the slope was 2/3, that means I'd go up 2, and I'd go to the right 3. Okay, if the slope was -1/2, that means I would go down 1, because so here, let me ask you a question here. Does that negative belong to the top, the bottom, or both? And some people would say it belongs to both because it's negative. The 1/2 is negative, but it actually belongs just to the top. You could say the bottom as well. It's fine, but I like to put it always on the top. So because here's the deal: if you put it on both, this is what you'd get. You get -1 over -2, and a negative divided by negative is a positive, and that's why you can't do it that way, because you want a -1/2. So we're going to go down 1. And to the right 2. So down 1 and to the right 2. Okay? So that's how slope. Now about slope. So if you have a whole number, like if I have 5, you're going to put it over 1. Okay? All right, so let's actually do some problems here now with that and see what we got. So if I told you the slope was 1/2, and it goes through the point, so passes through, let's just say 3, -1. All right, so I'm literally just asking you guys to graph it. So graph the line. So basically, I make a nice grid here, and it's 3, -1, so I plot this first. So this is number 1 here. Number 1 is plot the point. Got to do that first, math fans. So 3, -1 is down here. Okay, so 3, -1 is right there. Got to know how to plot the points. Now the slope is positive 1/2. So this is so important, guys. You need to plot. So must plot second point using the slope. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to start at the first point. You want to start at the first point. So in other words, I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to go, the slope is positive 1/2. So it means I'm going to go up 1. I'm just going to kind of draw a little line. Up 1 and over 2. So up 1 and then over 2. And then you're going to put another point there. That's all you do. And then the last step here is don't forget to draw the line. Okay? Part of the deal is to understand, first of all, this is a positive slope. M is equal to positive 1/2. And so what you need to understand is a line going like this. If I walk left to right, okay, left to right, I'm going uphill. So this is a positive slope. If you draw something that goes the other way, this is a negative slope. Okay? So positive slope going uphill, negative slope going downhill, and it's always from left to right. Just remember that, okay? Just kind of helps you out a little bit. All right, so let's do, I got a bunch more to do with you guys, so let's just practice. So if I said it's going through the point -2, -3, and my slope is -1/3. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to plot that point. So -2, -3, and you plot the point. Okay, then we go down 1 and to the right 3. All right, you pretty much always go to the right when you're doing for the bottom number, because the bottom number is always going to be positive. Okay, but pretty much is the case. So the top number is either going to go up or down. In this case here, it's going to go down from that point. So I go, let me put a couple more marks on here. So I'm going to go down 1 and to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you plot your point. Okay, so again, from this point, I went down 1 and to the right 3. Okay, and then you go ahead and graph it, connect the points, and there's your graph. Okay, and again, you notice there it's a negative slope, and sure enough, it's going downhill. Okay. All right, so let's do a couple more here. What if I said a slope was -3 and it goes to the point 2, 1? Well, again, you're going to plot 2, 1. And the slope is -3. You need to do over 1, -3 over 1. You can't plot a whole number. It's difficult to plot a whole number. Okay, so we turn into a fraction, so -3 over 1. So remember, it's going to be down 1. It's always going to be to the right 1, or the bottom number. Okay, so again, we go from this point, we go down 3. So let me kind of put a couple more arrows here and a couple more there. Okay, so again, we're going to go down 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then over 1. And then you put your point there. Okay, and then we connect it. There's your graph. Okay, notice it's got a negative, and it is. It's going downhill. Okay, so these are really not difficult problems, guys. Let's do one more. So slope is -5/3, and it goes to the point, let's say 2, -4. So 2, -4. And now here it is. It's -5/3. Now I kind of did this problem on purpose because -5/3 means I go down 5, but I'm like way off the graph here, way off the graph. So instead of going down 5 and then to the right 3, how about if I go up 5 and to the left 3? So what I'm doing here, math fans, is I'm actually rewriting this instead of -5/3. I'm rewriting it as 5 -3, which is the exact same thing. But it just helps me because that 5, I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to go to the left 3. Okay? So let me actually get rid of this one little spot right here. And I'm going to go, again, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go up 5 and over to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, 2, 3. Then you put your point there. Okay, now we got our 2 points. This point and this point. All right, now if I would have gone down 5 and over 3, I'm just going to move this down a little bit. If I would have gone down 5 and over 3, this is what would happen. I would have gone down, like here, I'm just going to extend this out a little bit more. Down 5 and over 3. So your point would have been over here. Okay, and you can see when I graph this baby, I mean, it's going to be kind of close. Yeah, it's off by a little bit, not by much. Okay, just make the point a little bit bigger. All right, so no matter which point you plot, you're still going to get the right answer, but understand that you want to keep it in the grid. Okay, so again, instead of going down 5, I went up 5, but then to the left 3, and you can see I still have a negative slope. Okay, so make sure you know what you're doing. If you have whole numbers, turn them into fractions, but make sure you know how to graph it. Right? It's always, again, that top number is always going to be it's rise over run. So it's the negative. It's going to be negative or positive, so plus or minus of the top number, and that bottom number is always going to be positive. Always positive for the bottom. Okay? All right, so let's do a couple special cases here where the slope is 0. Okay? So here's the deal. Think about if you're walking and it's a nice smooth surface, right? Do you guys agree that like the slope is 0? It's smooth. There's no incline or anything, so the slope is 0. So basically, 0 slope is a horizontal line. Okay, and the slope is undefined, if you guys remember that, when it's a vertical line. Okay, so these are two super important things. If the slope is 0, it's automatically a horizontal line. If the slope is undefined, it's automatically a vertical line. Okay, so let's actually do a problem. If I told you the slope was 0 and it goes to the point 2, 5. So what you're going to do is you're going to plot 2, 5. 1, 2, and then 5. So 2, 5 is right here. And then the slope is 0. So what are you going to do? Draw a horizontal line through that point. Pretty easy. Okay. Let's do the other one. Let's say the slope was undefined. And it goes to the point 3, -2. Okay, we'll plot 3, -2. There's your point, 3, -2. And then you're going to draw a vertical line through that point. So here we go. It's your vertical line. Super, super easy type of problems. Okay, if it's equal to 0, it's a horizontal line. If it's equal to undefined, it's a vertical line. Just have to memorize that. Okay, but you really want to plot the points first, and then you want to draw the graph. Okay. All right, so that's all those different kinds of graphs. And the last kind of graph is actually similar to the 0 and undefined. So let's talk about that. If I ask you guys to graph x is equal to 4. Okay, if you guys remember, I talked about this already. This is a vertical line because a v is made up of 2x, or an x is made up of 2 v's. So it's a vertical line. Okay, and so literally I'm going to go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. X is equal to 4. I'm going to draw a point there, and then I'm going to make my graph. Okay, that's what the graph x equals 4 looks like. It's a vertical line going through 4. Pretty easy. Okay, so let's do another one. Graph y is equal to -3. So remember that this one was a vertical line is made up of two v's. It makes an x. Well, look at this. If I wrote y this way, y equals 3. What does an upside down y give you? It gives you an h for horizontal line. All right. So if I make a quick graph, I go to y equals 3. Put a point there. All right. And then what do? Okay, well, it's a horizontal line. Oh, which one am I doing here? Oh, I guess I'm doing, I was doing the y equals 3. No, I'll just do y equals 3. Sorry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then you just draw your line. It's a horizontal line going through 3. That's it. That's how you graph that. So notice, math fans, This has, like this problem right here, okay, that has no y. It's literally just x equals a number. Okay, and this one is similar, but notice it has no x. Okay, so and this is always going to be a y equals problem. Y equals some number. It has no x. It's not like y equals 5x, and this is not like x equals 2y. This literally is x equals, and that's a vertical line. Remember, an x is made up of two v's, and this one y equals whatever. It's a horizontal line, and again, it's made up of upside down y is an h. Right? If you take this y and you turn it upside down, you get an h for horizontal line. Okay, so y equals, like I said, this is y equals 3, and so we have our horizontal line. So you either get an undefined line or you get a zero slope line, and horizontal means y equals, and vertical means x equals, which is undefined. Okay, so just real quickly, if I ask you, just to kind of recap everything here, math fans, if I said the slope was negative 2/3 and it goes to the point negative 6, 2. All right, so graph it. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Negative 6, 2. Right? And my slope is negative 2/3. So I go down, from that point I go down 2, 1, 2, and then over 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So that's my graph. Cool? All right, so we learned that. We learned, like I said, the zero slope. Remember, zero slope is this way. Undefined slope is this way. And if I give you, if I told you the slope was 0 and it goes to the point 5, 3, you plot 5, 3. Put a point there, and then its slope is 0. So you graph it. Okay? If I said the slope was undefined, and then it goes to the point 2, negative 6, you go to 2, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, negative 6 is here. And then the slope is undefined. So what do? Draw it undefined. Actually going to that one right there. That's it. That's undefined. Okay? And then the last thing I showed you, just again, kind of refresh your brains. If I said x equals 3, you guys should know how to graph that. First of all, it's a vertical line going through x equals 3. Put a dot there and draw it. Okay, x equals negative 1, same thing. Go to negative 1 and draw it. And y minus 4 equals 3. Good problem. I'm going to solve for y, so add 4, so y is equal to 7. And so I go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my slope was undefined. Okay, so I go up to 7, put a point there. And then it's y equals, so it's a vertical line. And so we draw a vertical line. Okay, not bad. So it's an x equals, a y equals, different slopes. So that's pretty much it, math fans, for this lesson. And hopefully you guys are good with plotting points and graphing then the second point using the slope. All right, that's it, math fans. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.